So welcome everybody to the first BF Nations podcast. I'll be your host, Rogue Monkey Jr. So this first podcast is going to be a little bit more freestyle, getting the growing pains of making a podcast and producing it and all that stuff. But I'm going to let the other members of this podcast introduce themselves real quick, and then we're going to get into the topics of the day.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I will start. It's me, Maple, from BF Nation. It's a true pleasure. Our first podcast today. Indeed, it's a bit freestyle. We're starting a soft start, so everyone is here. It's a true pleasure. We're gonna start with the admin, and Rogue will manage us for this 30-40 minutes. So, it's a great pleasure. Maple, Syrup, I'm here, and big thanks to everyone for watching this podcast, listening to the... you can listen and watch the podcast today, so it's both.
How's it going, guys? Like an MB here. If you don't know who I am already, I am a shoutcaster primarily, and I am lead of the broadcasting team for Battlefield Nations.
And he's the best broadcasting the battle. You're the best. Thanks for being there. Indeed, you will lead. We have made one meeting with the broadcasting team. We're gonna push also YouTube stream. We're gonna continue on Twitch. We can do both. That's the best of the two worlds, I think. So big thanks, Lycan, for joining us today.
Yeah, so in the future, we might have more people from the BF Nations admin team join and probably swap some out in and out. So you might see the roster of people hosting and participating in the podcast change over time. But we're definitely going to try and keep some people in the podcast for every week. So I have a couple little topics here, bullet points for today's first podcast. So I'm just going to go through the topics real quick, and then we're going to do a little bit more of a deep dive on each individual topic. So we're going to talk about Battlefield 2042 in general. So the launch, the updates that have been released since the launch of the game, current state of things, gunplay, and more stuff concerning the general state of Battlefield 2042. We're also going to talk about the road ahead for Battlefield 2042 with the live service game model that they have planned for it, and also the surprisingly big change in management for the Battlefield franchise over DICE as well. So there's a lot of moving parts happening in EA DICE. So we're going to touch on that quickly as well towards the end of the podcast. So starting off with the general talk about Battlefield 2042. So obviously people who had early access to the game, I think all of us probably had early access to the game because we purchased the gold edition at least. So it's no secret that Battlefield 2042 kind of launched in a pretty poor state. So if you guys want to touch a little bit about your experience when you first picked up the game, did you find it was like kind of rough around the edges? What was your first initial reaction when picking up the game and getting into your first match of 2042?
I'll let you start, Lycan. Go ahead, my friend.
Okay, so it was very rough around the edges to start with. Nothing like the beta, or the pre-alpha actually. I found that I got a feeling they rushed it a bit too much. I don't know if it's on their end or if it's on EA's end, but it released. I mean, they already delayed it a month, so it kind of showed that it wasn't in a playable state to start with, and I think they just ran out of time, unfortunately. As you see now, though, it is getting better. The gunplay is getting surprisingly better. The spread's getting better. Some weapons, unfortunately, are unbalanced, aka PKP, because PKP goes burr and it's super accurate as an LMG. So we all know and love that gun at this point in time, which is 12th of December. So that was when it's most broken. But no, I have got good hopes for Battlefield 2042. Unfortunately, the rough start has affected the game and affected the community within it.
Yeah.
We have lost a lot of players, I think.
Mm-hmm. First impressions are so important in this day and age with how much competition there is in the gaming space. I mean, gaming at this point is making more money than movies and series, and you can find so many other experiences in the gaming market that can satisfy your need to play a first-person shooter that kind of resembles something like Battlefield. I feel bad for the devs because they probably had to work overtime like crazy to get the game in a, so to speak, launch ready state for November 12th, 12th? Yeah, November 12th. So it's been exactly a month actually since the game released. If you want to talk a little bit about your first experience, Maple, in BF 2042.
I mean, I understand what everyone say about the game, okay? And I feel the same. I'm glad that they fix a little bit the bloom. I'm glad that they fixed at a certain distance when you aim, you were not hit registering. And I'm glad that they acknowledge quickly those issues. For me, I had fun with the game, honestly. I find the map too open, so I enjoyed the rush, more linear and small map. Though defending, it's kind of the opposite in Battlefield 5. Defending is way easier in this opus for in rush. Some points are super difficult to attack in rush. But anyway, no, for me, I enjoyed the game, but I can recognize the default, let's say, that it has. But when I compare, I was not there for Battlefield 4, but like Battlefield 4, it's the game who is praise now in the battlefield, you know, and it took months and months, and the soon meme came from some length that they were between update. So if and now, and remember how people love Battlefield 4 and the launch that it was. So if we compare 1 month, we already have like 2-3 updates non-stop. There is group, there is this is insane how much they are reactive. So I got a good feeling still for Battlefield, but as everyone saw the Metascore critic and the complaint on Reddit and all thing. But yeah, so I had fun. I find there is bug, but for me, I enjoy Battlefield. And if I compare to any other modern area of Battlefield that was created, I think it's a good start, as weird as it sounds.
Yeah, I think they have a good base. There's a lot of things, obviously, that they can improve on. And I don't think we're going to stray away from the specialist type system that they implemented in the game. Like it or not, I don't think we're going to stray away from that. They could do things that would mitigate people's dislike for the specialists. We already saw that they added like class, or so to speak, classes to the specialists. But if they were to break them down maybe a little bit more, and make certain gadgets locked behind certain class types, so they could still keep the specialists at a whole, but just have like specific classes. So let's say, for example, Falcon, Angel as the support class. So they're the only ones that have access to medical crates and ammo and stuff like that. So maybe not have every. Yes, go ahead.
So you say that if you have a look at the list of the specialists, either in game or on the website, it actually tells you that their class role is either recon, engineer, medic,
exactly.
or assault.
So they could just lock certain gadgets behind certain class types, and I think that would make a big difference for overall flow of not having Falk sitting in the back with like a rocket launcher or like a soul flam or something. I don't know. It could make squad cohesion a little bit better in the sense that not everybody would run around playing Sundance with ammo and meds,
Sundance is so fun. Sundance, I'm feeling bad to not revive people to choose between Falk and I'm like, okay, Sundance for a few rounds, bro.
I've always been a medic main, so naturally I just went to Falk. I already had the tier 1. I got the tier 1 skin like 5 days after launch. I was in balls deep on the launch day. Like I got up at 2:45 in the morning because it was really early for us Eastern people that live in Canada. And it was a little bit more reasonable for you.
You have the time of the coffee.
Like 8 a.m. for me or something.
Yeah, it was like 3 a.m. for us, and I was like, oh, do I really want to get up? I'll do it. I'll stream it. So I woke up at an ungodly hour to stream it, but they definitely have a lot of work to do, and honestly, there's no doubt that developing a game work from home must be an incredibly difficult challenge, especially because we've seen a lot of senior devs leave DICE over the past couple of years since the launch of Battlefield 5. And you can't blame the devs. You've been working on the same game franchise for so long that you might want different challenges of some sort. Because these people are creative. It's not just a day job where you kind of do always the same thing. It's a really creative process of developing a game, and I can see where they're coming from, saying, okay, I've been working on the Battlefield franchise for like 10 years. It's maybe it's time to move on and challenge myself to develop some other type of game, or start a studio of my own and just bring my creative ideas to life. So yeah, I don't know what you guys think
All
about
what
that.
you said have been done. All what you said have been done.
Yeah,
I
we already
think
see it within Bark Studios. Those are a lot of
Yeah.
senior Dice members. Did you guys see the Arc Raiders trailer, by the way, from the Game
Yeah,
Awards?
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, it's looking good.
Given those, I saw a lot of Star Wars Battlefront 2 vibes in that. I don't know
Yeah,
if you guys.
so it gave me a lot of Destiny vibes to it as well, like a third-person Destiny slash Star Wars vibes to it as well because of the futuristic setting and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be free to play as well, which
Yeah, I think I saw
Yes.
that floating on Twitter or something that it was going to be free to play. So it's an interesting business model for a brand new. No doubt that it costs a lot of money to start a studio, right? So
Yeah, it
having
does,
the free to play model, that is a big gamble.
yeah, I reckon they definitely got some help from somewhere, publishing studio or anything of that sort, really. And yeah, good on them, really. Stepping away from Battlefield. I think there was devs for Battlefield 1 and Battlefront, so
I think I saw Jolie say that they were in stock exchange as a public company pretty quick after they
Oh, well,
they
that's
got this
interesting.
out. But it's been a while. I'm not sure of which one it is, but yeah. I think all those movements though explain that the video game is changing and becoming even bigger. As you said, the video game industry indeed have made much money than music and the film, the movie industry. It was 29.6 billion of profit. Not. I have so much sun in my face. Just.
I was about to say, you look like you are blinded.
I was like, so yeah, 20. I think it was 59 billion. No, it's 29.6. I read that very recently, and it was more than the profit of the music and video game industry combined. But to be back on Battlefield, yes, all those things have changed for people to go. Indeed, as a creative person, if you work 13 years on the same place, it may not be only the great revamp of DICE itself. People just want maybe to go work on other thing, and that's okay. You don't be, those guys are artists. They are true artists. You don't become an artist. You born as is. So
Yeah.
it's totally understandable, I think, for them, which I call them artists for the quality of the graphic of the video game that they deliver. But big move. I think the future is bright. I think, yeah, the specialist, the phrase sometime at the end of the round, I can feel on that. Some people want the identity of Battlefield to stay Battlefield, but I think at the end, and honestly, the idea that you said to split specialist under certain class, and Lycan, you say that we can see the word assault, support, and things. So I really like this idea. I mean, if someone of DICE is listening during your Christmas break, guys, look, this idea is pretty much amazing and could bridge the gap anyway.
I've got an inkling that they're actually going to be starting to do that in Portal, or have it as an option. As you can currently see at the moment, 1942, Bad Company 2, Battlefield 3, they're all based on classes. So it's going to be easy just to turn a switch. Because the 2042 characters actually have their own specified roles actually embedded in their text. So there must be a plan for it.
Well,
and hopefully we will end up seeing it in a featured mode or as an announcement.
Like after sorry, keep going. I'm sorry. Just keep going.
Yeah, and you know, it will help expand on what Ripple Effect is doing as well in Portal, and hopefully we've already seen a lot of communication coming in from DICE and Ripple Effect. Ripple Effect mainly I've been keeping my eye on because they've announced, well, they've not announced, they've already asked about Spectator mode, they've asked about other things that we could have in Portal. So I've got
definitely things that could help you guys out for shoutcasting,
100%.
because oh god, I can't imagine how difficult
Do you
it
want
must
the
be.
spectator mode in Battlefield, Lycan? Do you want this?
Nah, I'll just stay with drones.
It would even
I really
it would
need
even like even people with the Portal experience, they could keep the specialist system, and with the logic editor, my understanding of it, they could technically lock certain gadgets to certain specialists, so they could essentially make a class system with the specialists that we already have and just define them how they want. So have, for example, I don't know, the assault. Obviously, the assault would be like Sundance and maybe who else? God, I don't play anybody else but Falk. So I'm so lost.
McKay, the grappling.
Yeah,
McKay.
for example,
So
McKay and
such a good
Sundance.
one.
So they could be the assault. So they could have access to like the rocket launcher, and for like maybe something like the FX A3, whatever, the anti-air launcher as well, and then have maybe Boris be some kind of an engineer or something with maybe Irish or Rao or something of the sorts. Have those guys have access to the repair tool and AT mines, right? And then
Honestly,
have
I really like this idea. I just want to say that just want to add that let's say if I was Dice, because maybe before it was too much silo, like classes, maybe that's why they changed and that's okay. Maybe at the moment it's too open, like everyone can use everything from any other specialist, but maybe having kind of a middle ground down the road. I really like the idea of having certain specialists for
Yeah,
certain
and also
weapon access.
some really things that annoy me. Armor plates. I hate that everybody can have armor plates. It makes gunfights so incredibly inconsistent. They had the same problem in Battlefield 4 with the defensive upgrade, defensive perk. So it was a squad upgrade system. So you'd pick a perk, so to speak, kind of like upgrade system that the more squad actions you did, the further along you'd go in the squad upgrade system. And the first one in that was defensive perk, which reduced damage by 10%, which was really, really annoying. And then they came back with the armor plates in Battlefield 2042. So I definitely think that if they maybe removed the armor plates or kept them specific to Angel, so that the only way you could get armor plates is if Angel throws them out to you with his resupply thing, maybe that could, reduce the amount of inconsistent gunfights that you have. But I think there's definitely a lot of improvement they could do in that, so that people would identify more with Battlefield, because we've seen a lot of people say it's a complete disconnect from the Battlefield franchise to have specialists and just everybody having access to everything. But there is improvements that I think they could do to come back to maybe something that's more Battlefield-like.
I think it's revelating. There's a change that it's much bigger. Honestly, for the Battlefield franchise, I think it's not the same Battlefield, but it's still Battlefield. Yeah. Anyway, we'll see. We cannot predict the future, but we'll see what happens on this. Yeah.
But Portal is. Go ahead.
Yeah, Karen.
No, go ahead.
I'm more happy for Battlefield to try and take new approaches. For example, like Hazard Zone, All Out War. But as long as they actually come out and help support the core of Battlefield, which they're starting to do, as we've seen like Rush come forward. We have Battlefield 3, Bad Company 2, 1942, and they're in the standard modes where we've got classes. They've got their own unique maps that have been brought back from the franchise, and we all know and love them. Like for example, North Shore Canals.
Which
Battle of the Bulge of 1942.
Look beautiful, really, with the new engine. Like they did a great job with those maps. They just need to bring more maps. Bring all the maps, all the maps.
We want some. Yeah, we want some Fort de Vaux from BF1, some Oregon Forest, some Metro, some. I love Fiel. For me, I love Fiel in Battlefield 5. So yeah, we want those type of.
I can't imagine it would be like, I'm not a game dev, but I can't imagine it would be that difficult to just port those maps over, because everything's already done in the Frostbite engine, and some of these maps are so new that they wouldn't even really need to upgrade the graphics or like remaster the maps.
Yeah, but I think they're not doing an old game, so it was correct to take the game of Battlefield 3 and all those modern type, and I think that's why they didn't take World War 1 or 2. Maybe we'll see as a DLC special remake of previous war area, and boom, you have Oregon Forest, Fort de Vaux, and Metro, and Fiel, tac. I don't know, it's just an example, but I think this is due to the modern area genre of the game. That's why because they have put a lot of map, it's always modern setting, so I think that's why.
Well, they have Battle of the Bulge and El Alamein, which are 1942
Alamein,
maps. Just I know
There's
it's early in the process of Portal. Like you can see that there's still probably they're going to expand quite heavily on Portal because it's going to be some people's go-to, and I'm sure it is already some people's go-to Battlefield experience right now. Just put there's so much content in the Battlefield franchise. Just dump it all in Portal. Just put it there.
And
you know,
Battle of the Bulge, is
go
that
hard.
this with the winter? I think
Yeah,
I
the
never
one with
played
the
that.
winter
Okay.
map. I played
Yeah,
some Gunmaster in there, Gunmaster of the Ages. I don't know if you guys tried that game mode yet, the Jack Frags game mode. In the
I haven't actually. I've played standard Gunmaster on Battle of the Bulge. It's all set in the town or in the village.
yeah,
so.
I love
Okay.
that. I'm for myself. I'm mostly an infantry player, even though I did get my tank on in Battlefield 4, and I must say that yeah, it was kind of disgusting at times. But I'm mostly an infantry player, so going back into more urban kind of maps like Battle of the Bulge, where you're having a combat in like these.
Is
Go
there
ahead.
other map with old setting? In I just want to make sure
There's
is,
two.
you see
There's
another
Battle of
map
the
too?
Bulge and
Okay.
El Alamein, which is the desert. That
Yeah,
map's
yeah,
a little
okay.
bit open and it's more suited for like conquest, because if you're running across that map, boy, you are running for a long ass time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Battle of the Bulge actually being really, really, really good for conquest. In the first week, I actually jumped on it. We was playing 2042 in Battle of the Bulge,
It's great.
and I was really impressed with the map. Actually, more impressed than I was playing 128 players straight away. Instantly. Hit registration was
about-
better.
Yeah.
It was just because you're limiting how many players, and it's putting less stress on the servers. The game engine is coping a little bit better because there's less people to get involved in the game. And I think that's why most of the people are really hammering on about Portal and the features modes every week. For example, everyone's going and raving on about the rush mode because it's 16 players. It's bringing back those memories of old Battlefield, like Battlefield 4 days where we had that lovely squad rush and the rush modes and
Rush was amazing in Battlefield 4. I
Yeah.
played that.
Yeah.
That was probably our go-to. And I had 4 friends, which for those that didn't play Battlefield 4, it was 5-man squads back then. When I had 4 friends on, oh boy, we were going to Rush, man. We were like the destroyers of Rush. It was so much fun. And yeah, I think all of us have pretty decent systems, and I can't for the life of me play All Out Warfare. It's so stuttery. Like, it's so bad. It's so bad.
I never played Rush in Battlefield 4, but in 1 and 5 it was good too.
Yeah, one was really good. But yeah, I don't know. All Out Warfare, I think I was watching a video about Hardware Unboxed. He made a video just analyzing the performance of Battlefield 2042. I don't know if you guys watched that. I'll send you guys a link if you're interested. But he was basically saying that even if you have a really high performance system, there's only so much optimization they can do before, like they could, like, I have an 8-core processor, but it's only at like 50% load most of the time, and I'm only getting like, I don't know, 90 frames per second in All Out Warfare, which is pretty low, considering that my computer's not really getting utilized to the maximum potential. So basically, it was saying that they could make it so that, okay, people with 8-core processors, we're going to utilize all your CPU, so it's maximum potential. They're literally saying everybody that has 2-core processors, you can't play the game. It's not going to be able to run because we've made it so that the game can utilize so much of the available hardware. I'm explaining it kind of poorly here, but if you guys go and watch Hardware Unboxed's video, you'll see it's interesting on like how they can't really make it so that the game can utilize all of the really high-end PCs specs, because there are still so many CPUs out there that are kind of like 4 cores, 8 threads, or 2 cores, 4 threads. But it's a really interesting video, and I'd highly suggest watching it. But
I will.
Yeah, that's why I've been playing a lot of Rush, man, because it runs so much better. Just 100, like I have a 240 hertz monitor, and playing that on like 70 frames and All Out Warfare feels really bad. I don't know about you
they made
guys.
an update with the DLSS or something, because it even on performance and boost it was much crisper, I feel. I think there's a change there. I was getting the same frame and I was like, am I on balance or quality? Okay, no, I'm on performance and it's kind of crispy. I was like, okay, that's sweet. I think they're improving. And sometimes I think there is like shadow updates. I feel like they're updating the game sometimes and we don't, I don't know. I feel like they're updating all the time. I love the update system. Anyway,
It's awesome.
And I agree with you. Yeah.
It's crazy. The new update system that they can just, okay, this item's broken, we're taking it out without even needing to update. It's all on their end. You don't even need to stop playing the game. You like, even when the most recent updates came out, they would push the update to the servers, and then when you're done your game that's currently happening, the game would prompt you, okay, the update's now available. You don't even need to just stop playing the game anymore to update. It's crazy.
That's promising, even even if the small change that you say, a split in silo, some specialists to some weapon to make a balance between the old and the new. I am sure it will not be that difficult to do. I totally agree, and I love those multiple update. This is a good. I think this is another. And, people maybe complain all the time on the new game, so that's okay. But I feel like it's something that it's... I remember, I think, Braddock back in the days on Twitter saying that they need to make this approved by their quality assurance thing. It was taking time to bring an update to PlayStation. And now this is like, I feel like the night they say, okay, we need to do that. The next morning it's there. So,
So the way I think it happens with consoles, I work for a small app company, and basically when you push an update, it functions kind of like the same for PlayStation and Xbox as far as I know. You push out an update, so you send it to the company like Sony. They have to check the update and approve it. So there's always a delay from the time that you actually push the update out to the company.
I don't know what's the delay
from the
now
time
because
that they improve it, approve it. But now it's like instant because they do it on their end. I don't know what their process is. It's
client side, so they're only able to control certain aspects of the game. For example, anything that's in the live service, for example, vehicles, guns, even characters, they can literally just turn them off. Like, for example, I believe All Out War is just one big Portal mode. That's what they based it upon. If you go into Portal, you can literally go into your game that you've made. You could just switch off a character, switch off a vehicle, switch off a weapon, and I think that's what they're able to do here in All Out War. And when they do that, obviously they have to restart that instance. So as soon as the server comes to an end, that server will shut down. And I think that's one of the main reasons why whenever we're in game, we always get kicked out and put into a new server in case anything like that was to happen.
That might make a lot of sense.
And there's a thing with Portal, just because the first one to spawn in some mode will be the admin of the server, and on console, when you press crouch or melee, you access the admin mode. So I need to dig more Portal, but and we may have some more tools now. But there's a Portal Jam, by the way, the Portal Jam made by Battlefield Portal, Mavatar. Go check that, $500 to win. Short plug. I love Battlefield Portal, so the guys are great there. Yeah. Okay.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think we've talked a little bit enough about the general state of Battlefield 2042. So we're gonna go to the next subject, which is the road ahead for Battlefield 22 with the live service model. So obviously there have already been quite a few updates, as we've said, and they were saying that season 1, so to speak, of Battlefield 2042 was coming early 2022. Now, what do you guys think about that, the live service model? We saw it with Battlefield 5. It kind of stopped in its tracks, so to speak. Yeah, so what's your guys' opinion on live service game model for Battlefield, especially Battlefield 2042?
I'll let you start, my dear Lycan.
Okay, so what they did in Battlefield 5 originally, I think they just threw it together. They seen what other companies were doing, other gaming companies with that battle pass system, all that sort of thing, where they would have like 100 levels that you'd progress through and you unlock things. If you got the premium version, you got a free version, that sort of thing. And they've really developed on that and put it into 2042. I believe what we will see is this quite similar thing, 100 levels or somewhere similar to that, where you can unlock, for example, I'm not sure if it'll be in it, but like XP boosts, certain weapon skins, tank skins, all that sort of thing. It's a good thing. Anything that's progressive and it keeps people playing is a great thing. They just got to make sure it's implemented correctly, and I think holding off until 2022 is a good move, just so they could brush it off and make sure everything's all ready to rock and roll for it. And going ahead with the live service as well, being able to push updates quite regularly, and obviously they don't cost anything. There's no season pass like you would get in the old days, where you'd have to pay for your DLC and that sort of thing as well. Having it all free as a blanket for everyone, the only thing you need to pay for is your premium for your season, which I find is absolutely fine. I think every developer that Devils in that is going for that. So, yeah. I mean, that's what I've got to say.
Yeah,
about
it was
really.
definitely. We've seen it in past games with the premium, version of Battlefield where you got the brand new maps and everything, but nobody's playing it because they didn't buy that DLC or whatever, which was kind of annoying after a while. It's like in Battlefield 1, you'd want to play maps that came out in certain DLCs, and sometimes you just weren't able to find servers because nobody was playing it that had the DLC. So that was kind of lame, having content that you wanted to play but couldn't because nobody was there. So definitely having maps and everything be free is a good move if they want to support a game.
They didn't close the door about free. Huh? I think they say that they will check any model, any business model. So maybe we'll see at some point a free thing in Battlefield to play everyone together. That's possible. Yeah, so I have the same opinion as you guys on the live servers, to be honest. It's a yes. And again, I will just add that, and no, I can just say that it's much more quicker, a bit as what we say before, live services is good for the regular update if it can improve the games. So no, good for. At the beginning, I was a little bit salty about live services. Maybe down the road, I don't know. Sometimes you continue, you read everything, but no, live services is an addition, I think, to overall the longevity of quality game if they bring something regularly.
Yeah. I just wanted to say real quick, having a live service game model is not an excuse for launching a game before it's ready. I just want to put that out there, that I don't agree with the fact that they release a game that is like in a beta state at best, and then patch it. The game should be playable day one with minimal bugs and stuff. Having a live service game model is not an excuse, but we could talk about that for hours. But I just wanted to say that real quick.
That's okay. That's okay, bro. That's right.
Go ahead, Lycan. You're about to say something.
I mean, probably I'd say 80% of the community, with Battlefield 5 in particular, when they first announced this live service and there's no premium pass, and then it didn't help that DICE abandoned the game early and went to work on 2042. It just had that inkling, that feeling that because there was no premium involved, there wasn't enough money made in Battlefield 5. It was just the base game, everything was free. And they had microtransactions in the form of skins, but that came late into the game. So
and there was no battle pass either, so they didn't. If people aren't playing the game, well, they're sure as hell not spending money on microtransactions. Right, so
and then I think there was no way to fuel the patches and the content updates for Battlefield 5. Hence why they abandoned the project early. And I think that was the inkling that most of the community thought, and it left a bad taste in the mouth for live service.
Oh, for sure.
And I think that's what DICE is now trying to amend on, saying that we've prepared this time. We're doing a live service again. You could pay for the battle pass. You might not want the battle pass, but it's fine. You can still play the game. And we're going to keep on giving content. We're going to be able to update the game regularly. We're going to be able to change things if they break. And we've got multiple studios as well working on. We haven't just got DICE Sweden. We've got Ripple Effect. We've got Criterion. There's a new studio getting founded in the US. I can't remember what it's going to be called.
Which is exactly what we're going to talk about in a second here.
Yeah, so there's a lot more going ahead with this one. So I'm really looking forward to what's going to be happening. So I've got my hopes high. And as you said, it's no excuse for releasing a game in a broken state. But, it's been a month and they've managed to get it to a state where most people are enjoying it. So, perhaps an extra month delay might have helped. But then half the problem is some of the stuff only got found where people played the game.
Yeah, exactly. Because when you're testing stuff internally, there's a lot of issues that might not arise because obviously Battlefield players are freaking psychopaths and they think of multiple ways to break the game that maybe other people within the studio itself won't think about, So definitely having millions of people trying out different things.
Yeah.
You got a bigger sample size of people doing crazy shit to break the game, So
and on the developer side of things as well, I reckon when they go through their testing before they release something, either a patch or the game itself, they don't extensively test it. What they'll do is they'll get the patch, they'll get the latest build, they'll go, okay, mouse movement left, mouse movement right, mouse movement up, mouse movement down. Yep, mouse is working, ticked off the box. Go to the controller, use the controller, everything looks fine. But they don't realize that there could have been an issue with uniform soldier aiming, or there could be an issue with mouse input, emulating a controller, for example. That sort of things which would take people, quite a lot of people, to go, there's something wrong here. And then DICE would then look into it and go, yes, there is. Okay, we'll investigate. So
I think they have a lot of credit. I think I understand what you said, but if we think about developer like Drungzy, or I think there's a lot also of people that I'm pretty sure test the game. But yeah, I agree that overall there's things that look a little bit overseen. I know, I understand what you mean there. Yeah.
But yeah, as we were saying earlier, work from home, especially if you got a lot of more junior devs that maybe it's their first, big game like this that they're working on, it's a big project and they have to do all that from home. And honestly, managing people from home can be very difficult. Talking to somebody face to face, like just instead of sharing your screen, being next to somebody with your laptop or your computer and showing them like, okay, this is the problem or whatever, is vastly different from doing it virtually on Zoom and stuff like that. So I can see the difficulties they must have had.
But there are other things that you are much more productive by working from home.
Of course. There's advantages. There's pros and cons to everything, honestly.
I'm pretty sure they have to say, guys, when you finish your day, close your laptop, even if you're at home, because when you're at home sometimes, there's things that can take longer. But yeah, if you have the time, you have always your coworker that, you just call me anytime. I'm at home, it's 10:30. I don't know what I'm saying that like this, but I'm pretty sure there is also an upgrade of productivity in some spaces due to the work on the computer and the comfortability of the home. But yeah, overall,
stress.
A bit less stress, but overall, watching the important things together, maybe there is so many things to do in a video game that have access to all the Steam Studio may help for critical things, but I think they managed to pull out a product that is becoming better and better at each week, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah.
All right, so moving on to our last little topic here. So late last week or early last week, I can't recall exactly when the news broke, but there's a lot of movement within the management of Battlefield and all the studios that work on that franchise. So GM Oscar Gabrielson is departing DICE at the end of the year. So that was a big announcement. He's been with the studio for, I think, 13 years now, and I think 5 of those years were spent as general manager, or maybe a little bit more. So yeah, that is a big move. Seeing such a long-time employee and general manager of DICE leaving the studio. Also, Rebecca Kutaz, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, is taking his role. So she is a former Ubisoft studio director. I don't really know what she's worked on in the past. So if you guys know, feel free to tell me. But so yeah, she's taking over his role. And another big piece of news, Vince Zampella. So I'm sure everybody knows, he is the head of Respawn Entertainment. Obviously made Titanfall, which is a game that a lot of people highly praise for its multiplayer, and of course the single player campaign in Titanfall 2 that I'm ashamed to say I've never played, despite having
Best
the game
campaign ever.
Despite having the game, I bought the game and I have it. I've never played. I'm so bad with that. I have so many games that I've never even touched. I'm a disgrace. So yeah, and obviously making Apex Legends, which I do believe is currently one of EA's highest grossing IPs over the past couple of years. So yeah, he's taking over as boss for the entire Battlefield franchise. What that actually entails, I'm not quite sure. They've never really used the term boss, so to speak, of a franchise. But yeah, I'm curious to see where that's going. Go ahead.
Honestly, I'm super sad for Oscar. I don't know him, but on his Twitter, he said that he want to be a competitive player, and we're trying to bridge the gap and build Battlefield Nation. So we're all gonna make him honor. I hope that Vince Zampella will keep the and honestly, with some phrase at the end of the round, like, that's why I want to say this. Battlefield as a spirit, as a soul, and I hope, and honestly, Vince Zampella is pretty much I heard big content creators say that, and it's true, it's probably the best bet that they can to bring someone else to make this work. That I agree. But I hope Vince Zampella will feel the spirit and the vibe, the soul of Battlefield. So whatever we do after, even if it's super modern, technical, a bit of what the most popular opus are doing this time, but it keep the soul of Battlefield need to be everywhere, and maybe during this period of change, plus departure, plus a great revamp, plus a different way of doing the video game, this maybe people are afraid a little bit of that. Plus the change of Battlefield makes it, it's not even the same vibe. I'm not smelling the same Battlefield, but I hope that down the long road they will have improvement due to his workflow and his motivation and new yes. But I hope he will keep in his head and in his heart, if he has play, the soul and spirit of Battlefield in everything he do. Does that make sense?
I mean, I agree with that. And also bringing someone in from Respawn that was on Titanfall's team from 1 and 2. Titanfall in itself technically is a kind of a futuristic style battlefield. I mean, you've got the Titans, which are your vehicles. You've got different range of movement. I mean, it's widely known as the Apex movement now, but Titanfall's movement is very unique. But in its core, you look at the maps in Titanfall, they're just the same as like a Battlefield 5 map. You jump to a Battlefield 5 map, it's probably about the same size. You've got buildings, you've got destructible objects, you've got people running around with guns shooting each other. So it's quite, you can relate both games together. They're just different settings, and the mechanics are just slightly different. So with him coming on board, he's already got that key feature in that Titanfall. As we know, Titanfall is a really good game. I mean, it's very underrated. Titanfall 2 is absolutely amazing. It's multiplayer, it's gun skill, it's movements gaps, absolutely insane. The campaign's amazing as well. I can only see ups with him joining the team. I mean, he's going to do a great job. I mean,
you have no choice.
as they were saying, I think it's the COOVA, Beat, I think her name is. They were saying that they're trying to expand on the Battlefield universe as a whole. So bringing Vince Zampella in, having that baggage of making Titanfall 2 and the campaign that came with that, which is highly praised, as you guys said, I can see probably a lot of single-player experiences coming to Battlefield with him taking over as the overall boss for the Battlefield franchise. I think they're trying to make it much more of a universal brand or franchise that everybody can enjoy, because a lot of people, like, we heard a couple years back CEOs and people saying, single player games are dead, but we've seen it time and time again that single player games are not dead. We've seen it with God of War, which was incredible, Ghost of Tsushima, which again, single player games that are insanely praised and
beautiful,
made millions in sales, millions, just incredible sales. So I think they want to widen their horizons, because let's be honest, Battlefield campaigns have never been like the main focus of Battlefield. Like, people would buy the Battlefield game for the multiplayer experience, and then obviously get the single player campaign on the side and be like, okay, I'll play this just to see what it's about. But it's never been like proven. We're playing Battlefield for its campaign. So I think they want to get that part of the market that never touches multiplayer games and bring them into the Battlefield universe with more than likely multiple single player Battlefield experiences.
It's also been proven that single player and multiplayer can go hand in hand with each other. Take Halo, for example, the newest Halo at the moment. The single player is absolutely insane, and the multiplayer Halo, as we all know, it's massive. I mean, you've got esports, you've got custom games, you've got Forge, which I know it's delayed, but Forge in its core.
What is this for, if I may ask?
It's you can edit maps. You can blanket a whole map so it's
okay.
all plain, and then you can add all sorts. You can just create your own maps, create your own objectives, respawn locations, instances, all that sort of stuff. And you know, Halo's a long-running franchise, just like Battlefield, and they always manage to keep the campaigns great and keep the multiplayer great in balance with each other. So, yeah, I mean, it can be done with Battlefield, and to be honest, the last campaign, the tank campaign in Battlefield 5 was probably the best in the whole game itself. It told the story of a Tiger crew going through Germany on its final days of the war, and it was heartfelt. It was told really well. You know, you actually felt like you was emotionally connected to emotionally connected to the tank commander, and you know, it was just it's probably the best one out of the whole lot. So they can do it. They've got it there. They can do it.
Even in Battlefield 1, the opening scene, the opening sequence that you play through in Battlefield 1 when you start the campaign, where you're dumped into like all-out warfare. There's explosions happening everywhere, and people are dying left, right, and center. It's super dark and gritty. That scene was freaking insane.
Yeah.
That sequence of events, and then it's like you start off the Battlefield 1 campaign with that.
And the trailer of Battlefield.
I might put like just a snippet of that specific opening sequence for Battlefield 1 in the same
podcast?
thing for Battlefield 5. Yeah, I might do that.
Good idea.
Talking about Halo, actually, Marcus Leto, which is the co-creator of Halo, is the person that will be building the Seattle-based dev team that we were talking about a little bit earlier. There's no official name for it yet, but he is the one that will be building that and leading that Seattle-based dev team, which, from what they've said, is going to be mostly narrative-driven work. So I would expect a lot of single-player experiences coming from them. And they also said that their work will be seen in later seasons of Battlefield 2042 across a variety of experiences, which, again, leads me to believe that it's going to be mostly single-player based experiences. But bringing all that into Battlefield 2042, like, is all that going to be free? Like, if you buy Battlefield, is all that gonna? They're talking about all the experiences, and like, is that all?
The skin's gonna be $60, but the skin's gonna be $60,
bro. I've got a feeling they might just release this as a separate title. To be honest with you,
maybe
they've already said that they've expanded the franchise to keep it around in the current setting longer. So it won't be. I don't think it'll be in the form of DLC. I'm not entirely sure. I could be totally incorrect about this, but I've got a feeling that if they do end up releasing a single-player component to Battlefield 2042, I reckon it's either, if you own 2042, it costs you a certain amount. If you don't own 2042, it comes as a whole package, or you can just buy it on its own as a standalone. So,
so it might be like $20 to buy as a standalone, just buy that single-player experience, which I think would be reasonable, depending on, obviously, a lot of people base their investment in a game on how many hours I got out of the $60 I spent for the game. But I think even if the game is $60 and the campaign only lasts like 5-6 hours, if it's a solid 5-6 hours that you're like sitting there at the end, like, holy shit, that was insane. The $60 was well worth that 5-6 hour experience was definitely worth the $60 you invested into it. If you're sitting there the whole time and you're engaged and you look at the time, holy shit, I've been playing for 3 hours already. I got to get some stuff done. Then I think that $60.
It's 3 a.m. I'm working at 8 a.m.
What the hell am I still doing here? So I think
I just want to finish on a touch like this. I think you bring the first player topic, and people don't see it right now, but with the augmentation of the quality of the graphic, the relevance that single player developer needs to have and keep in this more and more multiplayer world, I think when one of you guys say creating a new, I think they may even create a new genre by bringing seamlessly as a total immersion and experience some single player aspect point during a multiplayer game. I know it sounds crazy, but I feel like maybe they will try to merge the history with the FPS, but in a much more during the play way than cinematic video at the beginning. I don't know, but it was all of this make me brings this this type. Do you think it could happen or no?
Maybe. Go ahead, like
No?
Not to forget as well that they've implemented armor as well, which is very reminiscent of a battle royale, and you only get 20% armor. I might add, there's space for 100% armor, which if you take Call of Duty Modern Warfare, you can top yourself up to 100% in armor. So I've got a feeling we are going to be seeing battle royale, and it's just in the works at this time, and we're going to be seeing that armor stick around because you can go up to 100% armor, which is very reminiscent of a battle royale.
if they can take the armor out of all-out warfare and base game modes, I'm fine with that. Just putting that out there.
You really don't like the armor, huh? You really
hate
don't
it.
like
I hate it. It's not the type. It's not a like Overwatch is. If I can compare it to Overwatch, it's normal to have characters that have much larger health pools because they fill that tank role, or characters that have a lot less health because they're that assault type role. But Battlefield, I mean, everybody should have. It should be a level playing field in the sense that everybody should have the same amount of health. And I even when I'm playing, I just want to say it real quick. Sometimes, just because my muscle memory is so ingrained into how many bullets it takes to kill somebody, sometimes I move off target even before the person is dead because my muscle. I don't even have to think about it. I shoot that person and I know, okay, automatically, subconsciously, 6 shots have gone out. That person should be dead.
Yeah.
No, I turned around and he's still there because he had armor on. It's frustrating. It's so frustrating.
And knowing the time you can start to turn, you can do 90 degrees and be already in the direction of your other enemies while you know that the last bullet will kill the guys in. No, I know. Okay, I understand what you mean, Daibai.
Yeah.
We'll see for Battle Royale. I like the 20% armor. They can do more. I think they will merge single player and multiplayer at some point in some way also in the future due to the power the power of the platform.
If we could get some Battlefield 3 type co-op experiences, that would be great. That would be great. I don't know if you guys ever played the Battlefield 3 co-op missions.
Yeah.
That was so fun. Those were so fun. There were very few.
I watched video.
But they were really fun. Like, and when Battlefield 4 came around and there were no co-op experiences, we're like, that sucks. You know, sometimes you don't want to go all full sweat mode online and play against
They bring
people.
back in Battlefield 5 and it was not full use. I think it is.
Yeah, but that was
in 2042,
poorly. Well, that's they say co-op, but it's just playing in a conquest match against bots. But as for Battlefield 3, there was really like an overall arching mission to complete with your teammates. I think it was just poorly implemented in Battlefield 5. It was kind of like, I think, like a really late project implementation to the game or something. I don't know. I didn't really play them personally.
Yeah, there was a lot of things left behind in Battlefield 5. It's to do with the whole abandoning the game early as well. I think they wanted to make a co-op experience, but then again, they wanted to make a lot of things for Battlefield 5, including a competitive mode like incursions that we unfortunately lost during Battlefield 1.
I remember that when it came out. That was interesting, having especially veteran devs like Tigger, which is David Serlin. I think he was heading the team at the time for Battlefield 1 Incursions, and that was a good project.
The trailer, the 5 people that were sitting in front of the zoom on out of the map with the sand, the pillar, with the thing. No, man, no, that was. And in Portal, I think, honestly, we need if we have pay server that we can keep maybe, but anyway, with their experience code that good in Portal, I think we cannot spawn flag. We cannot put flag on Portal. That's one of the limitation. Bring us the tool to put a flag, create a flag, and the limitation area. So with that, I think just with that, all the team deathmatch map will be because we will know on which sector we are when we are on a
yeah. I saw somebody make a bomb defusal and planting type mode in Portal.
Yeah, that's Prime.
Yeah, if I find the code or something,
nice.
I'll put it. It's like a kind of like CS:GO type experience where everybody gets one life for that round. Kind of, a lot of people that come from CS:GO and
Search
Rainbow
and destroy.
Six Siege. Yeah, basically search and destroy.
Basically
search and destroy.
Mera is a great guy from the community. I had the chance to talk with him when I jump in his server, and I like, yeah, you're a gem of the. It's amazing, and even for the competition, taking note of for BF Nation, the rules are things are made from ESB, of course. Some good point from them. I think he has a great knowledge, Mera, in competition. So great guy for the BF Prime. Much top notch the mode that they do.
So there's definitely going to be a lot of opportunity for competitive play in Battlefield because all the tools are there to make your own custom game mode with custom rule set and different logic editor and stuff like that. So it's going to be insane to see where, because they've wanted to break the competitive market for a while with Battlefield. It's never been that game that's like,
they've always wanted it.
Yeah, they've always wanted to have a large competitive scene, but it's never just panned out.
It's done the way the Portal Day mode. It's done the way of DICE, and I think it's cool. They let the product, I feel, be shaped by the community, and that's amazing. Maybe we'll have the CS:GO mode, but maybe we'll have 1,000 modes, so everyone will find his competitive liking in that, and they will go together to a mode that everyone will play and continue. Yes, I think the future is bright for the competitive of Battlefield, but the community have a lot of work to do, and we have the tools for. With Portal now. But more and more, I think they will add tools to Portal, so that will be great. Even for me, I wanted to create things. I was like, okay, I will create a server for BFN. I'm jumping in the rules of Portal. I'm like, okay, I need 1 year of coding course. Okay, so I need to search a coder rather than. And even the competition guys are like, yeah, we have competition idea, but we need a coder to put what we have in our head in Portal. So it's kind of a fun mix of working. Now, bam, you need to work with coders as if you are competitive or you have some knowledge at least, but you want to try idea, even community idea. I was speaking with RDs or the ambassador. We have ideas, but maybe we don't want to do necessarily just rush or team deathmatch. We want to create domination. Man, I also want to create domination, but we cannot place flag. Maybe flag will come. The tools of Portal are great, and there is a lot of potential, and it's part of the big change of the game. I think it will be there on the long run. Indeed.
Yeah, I mean, it's all going to get added. Spectator mode, please. Fingers crossed.
Give the man a spectator mode. Give it to him. He wants it.
I'm desperately flying around drones at the moment, and even if you give us the option to shut off automatic spotting for drones,
that'd be
good enough for the minute.
Okay, no, we can't. Okay, I was like, is there that option, bro? Okay, no. Okay, there is not that option.
I would love for them to implement NVIDIA Ansel into Battlefield. It would help people that take in-game screenshots a lot to have Ansel. I don't know if you guys know what Ansel is at all.
I will check. I know Reflex. I know NVIDIA
Ansel
Broadcast.
is basically just a way of, okay, I'm pausing the screen in this specific shot, but you can back away from your character, change the angle. So it's basically like you're pausing the screen and then you're controlling a camera around. Mode. Exactly. It was in Star Wars Battlefront 2. Ansel, where you could just, okay, I hit this button on my keyboard, it pauses the entirety of what's happening around me. You couldn't do it in online, obviously, because that wouldn't work, but in single player...
There's a thing that annoys me, maybe Ansel can fix it, to take a screenshot on PC, which is HDR, 4K, with ray tracing, and when you press on screenshot on Windows, and you try to take a screenshot with HDR... Nothing works. You need to do, like Ken told me that, you need to go on Xbox to upload from there, but Xbox has a mid to high quality graphic, even the Series X. So do you know how to take screenshot in HDR ray tracing on PC? Does Ansel can do that? Maybe it's not part of the podcast.
Ansel is a really powerful tool, and it's developed by NVIDIA. So if they could bring that in, I mean, they did it in Star Wars Battlefront 2, where you could take amazing screenshots with that tool. So if they could implement that into Battlefield 2042, that would be great for a lot of reasons, because you could, there's a lot of people that enjoy taking screenshots in video games and making, video game art with those. So I think it would be a really nice tool. And also for Twitter content creators. Also for content creators, because sometimes getting screenshots is, pardon my French, a pain in the ass right now. Okay, man. Open the console, UI.draw enable, space 0, turn off the HUD. Okay, try and take a nice angle. Have a lot of lighting come in or something like that. It's kind of finicky to take screenshots right now. So if we could have a tool to do that, that would be...
With HDR. Yeah. Anyway, Great talk today, guys. It's
All right,
already
yeah.
been an hour. Yeah, amazing.
So we're gonna stop. We're gonna call it for
No,
today
go
for the
ahead.
podcast. That was yeah, that went by fast. So yeah, if you guys have any questions for maybe an upcoming podcast, maybe we can make a specific section of the podcast where we read a couple of comments or answer people's questions, because people often want to know what other people's opinions are on X, Y, Z topics. So if you guys have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section or send them to somebody in the team. Somebody will answer you, I promise.
I want to say thanks to you in the name of everyone, Rug, to hosting our podcast. You will be there normally the next time with you.
Yep.
Maybe we will have community manager, after that ambassador, and after that we'll go from all around the world with influencers. Thank you for being there. Lycan, is there anything you want to add as a word of end for this first episode?
Yeah, I mean, if whoever's watching from the Battlefield community, just keep doing what you're doing. Spread the news. Spread any concerns that you have with development team. Try and get that spectator mode pushed out for me, please. Thank you. And
there we go. Personal agenda. We see it.
Yeah.
We see that personal agenda.
Yeah.
And just overall, just keep doing what you're doing. I mean, they're listening to us now, and they've shown it in patches that they've done. So yeah, just keep finding those bugs, keep finding those issues, and just keep using the official links they provide to the EA website to get all the feedback forwarded out to them. With you, it's going to create a lot better game. So.
Yeah. And big thanks to everyone who listening. I will say, you can finish the word of the end, Rogue, but I just want to say big thanks to everyone for BF Nation. This is a new thing. I think it makes sense for BF Nation to do podcast. I hope you enjoy it today. So big thanks also from the BF Nation community to listen to this podcast today. We're going to have more, 2 per month at least.
Yeah, we're going to try and do a bi-monthly, bi-weekly. I think we
No, bi-monthly. Bi-weekly, give me a break.
Bi-monthly thing. Obviously, hopefully they'll get better with time. This was kind of our first delve into the podcasting world.
We were not so bad. I think we were doing good. We were not that rusty. I think we have done great today, guys. For me, great work.
So I think it was it was fun talk. Touched on a lot of subjects. Thanks to everybody who watched or just simply listened. We appreciate you guys, and we'll catch you in the next podcast, which should be 2 weeks from now. We generally record this on a Sunday, and I'll try to piece it together by at least Thursday at the latest.
You're amazing.
So we're going to try and have the podcast recorded on Sundays. So by the time you guys hear this, it'll already be like 4 days past. So the next podcast should be during the holidays. So yeah, that'll be it for today. Thank you guys again, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Bye-bye. Thank you, guys. Bye.
See you again.